This is the Surly Grognards for September 17th, 2019. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Most excellent. So, what's up, dude? We haven't done a podcast in a while, so... Well, we haven't done,
we haven't done
Grognards in a while, so...
We haven't done Grognards, rather. Been loving the Dark Crystal series on Netflix.
Excellent.
Because, well, Brian Froud's back, which is just amazing in and of itself.
Cool.
It's a lot of the old Henson crew.
Excellent.
And while the first couple episodes are a little slow, because it's a lot of exposition and like establishing what the world of the Dark Crystal is at this point in its history. Then stuff starts happening and things get cool and interesting, and I forgot how awesome the Chamberlain was.
Cool.
And my friend Mike, who I used to game with a lot, but then he got a family.
Yep.
Has been making noises about running game again, and I sort of written it off because he always makes noises about running game again, but work and family got in the way.
Right.
It is actively going to happen, which I'm super excited for. Like, he actually swung by our usual Monday game because he asked if he could swing by and talk about it. And yeah, it's happening. We're going to be playing D&D 5th Ed.
Nice.
We sort of crystallized some character concepts, and yeah.
Awesome.
Assuming nothing stupid happens in 2 weeks, we'll actually have a game. Not that you're off the hook, Peter.
No, I know I'm not, and I've made a little more progress. I've not made any written down progress since you last looked, but
cool.
I've got stuff percolating, and it'll get onto paper soon. Dagger asterisk star TM. It'll happen.
But there's sort of this. Chris and I actually hashed out sort of a joint background where he wants to play a half-elf rogue, and I want to play a half-orc paladin. And we had the idea that we're both raised in the same orphanage.
Okay.
Yeah. His character fucked off to the big city, ran away. Well, I stayed to be a good boy because I have to be a good boy, because if I'm not a good boy, no one treats the half-orc with any stuff any respect. So he gets an apprenticeship as a blacksmith out in this village and saves it and has a Joan of Arc kind of moment, and now he's a unaffiliated paladin. And the idea is he's going to go to town to find out what the fuck that means and run into Chris's character, who has been a charlatan selling fake potions. And we will go on adventures together.
And they fight crime.
Yes. Honestly, knowing Mike will probably get wrapped up into some horrible Lovecraftian shitstorm. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this. Probably because I've been wanting to try 5th Ed for ages, and I'm going to be such the nice guy in this game.
Awesome.
It's going to be so much fun. First time someone propositions my character, because he's a paladin, he's going to be good looking. He's going to be like, I never look at this. And just, I don't know how you blush green, but he's going to do it.
This is like the first time you played a genuinely nice guy. It'll be, I think, the second time you played a genuinely nice guy in that group.
Asterisks. I don't remember playing an actual super nice. Like, there was Dr. Arcane, who's my experiment in playing it. Like,
but that was our
nice
group.
Guy. Yeah.
You played the Iron Kingdoms game. You played the Paladin, didn't you?
Right. I played the Paladin. That he was a.
Well, he was technically a good guy, from what I've heard.
He was trying to be a good guy, but geez, that campaign we played, because we're playing a published campaign, did not want to let him be a good guy.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh my god. So, let's see, things that are concepts I've been noodling on to work into the D&D game, my D&D setting. I actually have been refining one of the central locations the party's going to be involved in.
Cool.
Because it's going to be sort of the instigating point of where the campaign is going to start. Because it's going to start off in a tavern. A totally normal tavern. Asterisk,
of course it
dagger,
is.
star.
It'll be
Normal is
fine. It'll be
inches.
fine. Nothing terrible could ever happen.
Yeah. So, all right. You remember I've talked before about there's an anime I actually rather enjoy, Restaurant from Another World, right?
Yes, I remember you.
You've seen an
You
episode or two
inflicting
of it.
this upon me. Yes,
You were enjoying it actually.
it was all right.
It wasn't for something that's not your cup of tea. You were enjoying it.
It was entirely something I'll watch with friends, but I have no interest in pursuing
That
on
is
my own.
totally fair. But I honestly like you can see why conceptually it's a neat idea to have like in a D&D campaign.
Oh yeah, because
Okay. So the campaign is basically going to start off with various party members stumbling across something like it. So like
okay,
I don't care how many like the group I want the group to, the my instructions to the players are going is going to basically be your characters don't have to know each other to begin with. If you want to like be like individual pairs of adventurers or what have you, fine. But you have to be capable of working with each other once you get to know each other.
okay,
Because you just say it's a tradition. I want at any rate. So you're all going to meet at a tavern, but it's a little different. So yeah, you'll stumble across a door in the middle of some like dungeon somewhere, or somewhere where there really shouldn't be a door, which has like basically like what the name of the place on it in several different languages. None of which you really recognize, except for like one that you sort of like quasi recognize and are able to barely translate. Basically, it'll be in a bunch of different languages, it depends on your character's skill set. You might actually recognize some of the languages. Most of them are old, basically, is what it boils down to.
okay.
But yeah, they basically translate to apocalypse.
Mm.
So yeah, you enter and you are met. It is a mostly empty tavern at this point because you happen to stumble across it during a downtime. And it's a very nice tavern. And it's got this big window on one side that opens out into this big view. Where if you look out there, it looks like time has stopped, which is a good thing because you're looking out into basically the end of the world. Like the land is boiling away into like space, and it's like rock being pulled apart, and etc. So yeah, it's the restaurant. It's Restaurant to the World crossed with the Restaurant at the End of the Universe.
Okay.
And
we're gonna have talking cows.
No.
I rest assure you, I'm delicious.
Not doing that, but that's sort of where the campaign is going to start. And that's where the party will meet each other, and you will probably meet someone who will be able to give you an adventure there, who basically be able to hire a group of adventurers there. It's like, oh look, a bunch of adventurers have walked into the tavern. It walked into the Apocalypse Tavern. This happens from time to time because this place is weird.
Right.
Yeah, basically the Apocalypse Tavern is a weirdness magnet. Weird shit happens, and yeah, conceptually it could end up being your base operations, or you could never go back. I don't care right now, but it's a potentially useful like sort of starting point. I just wanted to have a you meet in a tavern type thing, except a little bit odd and off.
Fair enough. You're definitely going very high fantasy, which is going to be an interesting counterpoint to Mike, because Mike usually runs low fantasy. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Most of the rest of the campaign might not be that particularly high fantasy. This just could be a remnant relic from a different time, which is like, yes, there is out there things of powerful ancient magic, but you might not run across it again for a while. Basically,
cool.
there are relics from a past age of powerful magic. You've seen the teleport gates I mentioned.
The teleport gates. Yep. And the Tiefling Empire and the Dragonborn Empire.
Yep.
They almost call them Dragonkin, which I think is actually a separate race, but I'm not sure.
They are. They normally are, but
no one cares.
I think I really call it Draconian actually in the thing, but
okay.
I don't know. I Dragonborn it's a good term, but it just doesn't feel quite right for. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, moot point right now.
Right.
But that's another thing. But anyways, the Apocalypse Tavern is one thing I'm going to be working into the world. And
cool.
As a party, you guys are going to stumble across. As individuals, you'll stumble across it for a party there. I'm hoping, Or you could just be an entire party who stumbles into it. I don't know. I'm not gonna.
I have two entirely different characters that I want to try out in your game, and which one I jump at will be revolve entirely around what everyone else wants to play.
Right.
So,
So yeah, but I thought you might enjoy
no,
the tavern.
I dig the like. You stumbled across this tavern in the middle of why is this nice tavern here in the middle of this fucking war zone? And oh, that's an entirely different. That's not a war zone. Oh, this is an existentially terrifying.
But yeah, you're like looking out there. It's like, for some people, it's like your brain has trouble processing what you're actually seeing. It's like what? But what? No, don't worry about it. Come here, have a seat. What would you like to order? But what?
Well, here's the funny thing: like the two character ideas is a goblin warlock and an orc gladiator. The half orc gladiator. The orc gladiator is just this giant ball of fatalistic whatever. He's going to look at their. That's. Well, I'm not dead now. I'm going to eat. The goblin's going to be utterly fascinated and scared shitless at the same time.
Come have a seat. What would you like to order? But would you? What's up? What has anyone gone outside there? Nope.
What happens if someone does? We should make someone go outside. Not me. Not me. No, I'll be over here. But you should go outside.
No. There's no way out through that wall, and we're not testing it to find out if there's to find a way.
Okay.
That strikes us as a terrible idea. At any rate, yes. Oh yeah, there are definitely things that, like, I guess in theory that you could like try to figure out what the fuck's going on out there. Or, might never come up. Could just be a bit of flavor. But I thought you'd find that interesting. I figured I'd dangle another little bit of, stuff I'm working on.
I can dig it.
Excellent. So, we actually have a couple of things to talk about today.
Which is awesome.
Yes, because we actually got stuff from the viewers. Hooray!
Hooray!
So, most notably, we got an email from stream regular Duwani. And we're going to answer his little question here. I don't think anything we've gotten has been sort of full show topic. But we got some questions we can talk about for a while, I think. So Duwani's question was, what obscure sci-fi series or what have you, anything like that, do you know that you really enjoy but has faded from the public eye? For Duwani, his suggestion was Stargate SG-1, which is a good one. If you had asked me about 4 years ago, I'd have said Babylon 5. Because
I could see that. It's enjoyed a bit of a resurgence because it's available on
it's on Amazon now.
Yeah,
Amazon Prime. It's not a good version of it. Basically, it's sort of when it was I forget the exact problem. It basically, due to it being compressed on screen for the DVD format, then pulled off the DVDs, it doesn't look as good, especially the CGI stuff. Doesn't look as good as it did on the original recordings.
Yeah.
That said, you are not watching the show for its special effects, in my opinion. Babylon 5, you're watching for the characters and the writing.
The makeup work is more than competent.
Oh, the makeup work's fine. It's just
it's actively really good for the time.
Oh yeah,
and just good for now. But yeah,
like the CGI special
you're
effects
watching it for the characters and the crazy conspiracy stuff and the weirdness
and the overarching story.
Yes,
it's just a good show. The CGI is not the best. It was fine for its time, not amazing, but fine. And yeah. Yeah, the compression effects just have not helped it. But again, it's sort of popped up back up on Amazon Prime, so people. It's got Eric's right. It's sort of gotten a bit of a resurgence,
It's still relatively obscure though.
relatively, but
Yeah. Like it's one of those things that like so mine is actually Farscape,
yeah,
which
the best show
is
that everyone forgets about.
yes, the best show that no one remembers.
Like you mentioned
Like
Farscape, and if they've watched, people will go, "Oh yeah, right, that show was fucking
that show
awesome."
is amazing. And people that haven't seen it is like, what the fuck is Farscape? And then you show them a few episodes, they're like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. No, that show's fantastic. I adore it. Um, yeah, we've talked about Farscape before in the show because
Yeah, yeah.
it's a mutual favorite. We both
And it's
we both adore the show.
it does this is a show that is happy to be hilarious, deadly serious, absurd and surreal, all in the same season, sometimes the same episode. Looking at you, looking at you anytime Helpful Harvey shows up.
Yeah.
And it's just plus it's the Henson crew just going balls to the wall with puppet effects.
Oh my god. Oh my
Just
god. The work.
fucking pilot, goddamn motherfucking pilot is
Yeah.
a fucking masterpiece, and just plus the voice, his voice work is great. Like,
Well, yeah. It's Crace. Crace is.
yeah,
That's
which
what
you never figure out.
That's what
I
throws
had
you. Like,
that pointed out to
that
me.
blew my goddamn mind when I realized that Lonnie
Yeah,
Cooper does
I was like,
pilot.
like, god damn, that's good. Damn, he's good.
Damn, Lonnie, you're fucking amazing. Oh my god, pilot's voice. It's Crace's pilot's Crace. What? What? Wow. But yeah,
So the way I found out that Talani did pilot's voice was I was at Dragon Con the year before it got canceled, and he was on a panel answering questions, and someone asked whether if he ever got whiplash going between Chris and pilot, and me and like a half dozen other people went, "What? He's not pilot," and he immediately turns to like each one of us and says, "Yes, I am," in pilot's voice.
you were like,
Oh shit!
See, that's where I would have stood up and applauded. Just like,
Yeah, no, yeah, pretty much people did. It was
I'm not surprised.
kind of amazing.
That is just a okay. Yep, I have more respect for you than I had before, and I thought you were fantastic.
And I thought you were awesome before. Yeah.
Goddamn, son. Like legitimately, my only complaint about Farscape is the way they ended up ending it.
Yeah.
And it's not entirely their fault.
It's not at all their fault, honestly. So for those who don't know, Farscape got shit canned between seasons. Sadly, with everyone thinking that they had an entire other season go on, and they were like planning it out.
Yeah,
and,
it
like,
is sort of almost the exact opposite of what happened in Babylon 5.
Yeah, and it got shit canned, and the fan community went nuts. This is before anyone paid much attention to the internet. Like it was a thing. It was a more powerful thing than people realized, but marketing monkeys didn't pay attention to it that much.
Right.
And so the fan community used the internet to get organized and then beat the hell out of sci-fi executives. Not physically, obviously. So they begrudgingly gave them a movie. Which had like it was yeah.
It was a 3-part miniseries.
It was a 3-part miniseries. And it had like a quarter of the budget it needed, and they had to compress like the 2 seasons they had planned into 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And,
oh no,
yeah,
it's literally my only complaint is that the miniseries is overall good, but it drops the ball in a couple of ways that's unfortunate.
It doesn't look nearly as good. It's again because the budget's got gutted.
Oh yeah,
so they,
totally.
So they didn't have the money to do like the scaring puppets or the makeup as well as they could have. And the writing felt very compressed. I mean, it gave everyone the closure they needed and deserved. It did that well and skilled, and it resolved the central conflict of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was they did Farscape dirty.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like literally, my only like my only legit complaint about the finale, honestly, is what the wormhole weapon ended up being.
Yeah,
And I'm like, uh, that yeah. Especially given they actually made an actual wormhole weapon earlier in the series.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, like I said, it was a lot of stuff got compressed and simplified, or
oh yeah,
just
no,
outright
and
cut.
like there are ways you could explain what Crichton did there, and like still have him do exactly what he did, and not because it needed like an episode's worth of time for him to fully explain what he actually had done, and why it wasn't. It's not technically a wormhole weapon. It is the logical extension of building wormhole weapons.
Yeah,
Because it is. I get that. It is literally moving down the line, in sort of weapons of incredible explosive power from, missiles and bombs and such to nuclear weapons. Because that's effectively
yes,
what it is. It is it's a doomsday device. It's not a weapon. What Crichton builds.
yeah, and you could have like teased out exactly what Crichton's doing over the course of the entire season,
Absolutely.
and had him like have like multiple crises of faith, because he would. Crichton's a mad fucker, but he's a good mad fucker.
Yeah, no, that again, it suffered from being 3 hours
Yeah,
effectively, or however long it was. It might have been longer, a little bit longer than 3 hours. I forget, but it suffered being too short. But up until then, it is a really good show, and even then, with that, it's still a really good show. It's just rushed at the end.
hmm.
Oh well. Especially given how season 4 ended.
Yeah, no shit.
It's like, and this is where it's over now. What do you mean this is? Fuck you! This is like the worst cliffhanger at. Fuck you!
It's like ending. It's like it was like ending friggin' Best of Both Worlds at part one.
Yeah. If Star Trek Next Generation had never continued past Best of Both Worlds Part 1.
Best of Both Worlds part one, and Dr. Crusher is also a Borg, and Q is dead.
It was pretty bad. But yeah, I really, really, really like Farscape. It is one of my favorite shows.
Farscape's up there for me, and I really should rewatch it. It's been a couple years.
It's on my list to rewatch at some point too.
Yeah. If I didn't have so much shit on my plate to watch as it is. Plus, doing other things besides just staring at a screen.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I said, Bab 5 would be, but I can make the argument for Bab 5, but a lot of people sort of, it's I'm not sure. I actually thinking about it, I'm sort of torn on whether people know Bab 5 better or worse than Stargate SG-1 at this point.
It's tough to tell, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, like the part of the problem is that my particular group of friends knows Bab 5 because,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like within my circle, which is slightly different than your circle, there's some overlap though.
yep.
It's the same thing. Of course, everyone knows and has seen Bab 5 and enjoys it. Same thing with Farscape.
Right, exactly.
But once I move beyond that circle, it's like people haven't heard of Bab 5, people haven't heard of Farscape.
But how is that possible? Haven't you heard everyone proselytizing these two shows? Oh, no, you haven't. Oh God, people are watching Bab 5 the first time are saying, "Hey, wait a minute, this seems a lot like DS9." Shut up, you filthy whore.
To be fair, I also really love DS9, so watch it.
No. I'm not knocking DS9. I'm just saying, yeah, DS9 came out after Bab 5.
The two were very similar.
They were very similar in initial concept. They went
yes,
very different places.
there's clearly a bit of parallel development going on there, at least for
Uh,
the first seasons.
yeah, there's reasons for
Maybe a
that.
bit of theft.
We,
I'm not gonna lie, maybe a bit of theft.
yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't say theft. I would say it was more. They were more inspirational. It was more inspirational
Mm,
because while there are similar conceits, they are very different. And part of that is just because of the settings. Like by plonking the frontier station, like this station, like for starters, DS9 is not like BAB5 is not a frontier station.
right.
That's a big difference.
That is a big difference.
BAB5
Bab
is a
5
central
is
hub.
yes.
And also,
Bab
it is the
5 is
seat of
like
the effectively of the UN. I mean,
yeah. Bab 5 is the Hague.
yeah,
Um,
right. They're very different places.
well, DS9 is
It's the
like
Alamo,
19th century Hong Kong, basically.
kind of. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on the frontier.
Yeah.
I mean, there is very much elements of sort of like Western fort cities in it also.
Yes. Well,
Um,
there's a reason why Bashir and O'Brien always play the Alamo simulation.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Eric. But yeah, I like that. I like DS9 a lot. Also, it's my my least favorite of the good Star Trek series,
It is my favorite of the good Star Trek
and that's
series.
fine.
And we will fight to the death, and it'll be fine.
We've had this podcast.
we've we've had this we've wrapped an entire podcast around this discussion.
Yeah, and I surprised both of us by realizing that I think my favorite actual Star Trek series is the original series, not Next Gen.
Yeah, that threw me for a bit of a loop. I mean, it makes sense in hindsight.
Yeah, it made total.
But yeah,
I will say this: TOS is way better than I remember. It holds up better than I thought it would. Going back and rewatching it, I mean, the special effects are goofy, and there's a fair bit of hippie '60s bullshit in there. That said, it is a lot more thoughtful than I thought it was. That I remember it being, and at its worst, it's goofy and stupid and not insulting. The way the worst next gen or next gen or Voyager episodes are.
yeah,
Like, there's
yeah.
nothing as bad as as bad as Code of Honor or Threshold in there.
Oh Jesus Christ,
They're like, about the worst you get is Spock's brain, which is just laughably stupid.
like I actually hold Code of Honor in greater contempt than Threshold. Threshold is just
Code of Honor
stupid. Code of Honor is insulting.
Code of Honor is insulting. Threshold is stupider.
Yes. I can laugh at Threshold. I can't
Threshold
laugh at
yeah. No, I agree completely. Yeah, no. Like, I will say this: Code of Honor, as insulting and unintentionally racist as it is,
yes. It's so clear they didn't mean to be, but they totally were.
Oh they were desperately like, yeah, well, we're totally trying to be good, trying to tell a good story with a good moral, and oh God, what have we done?
Oops. I think we need to step a bit further back from this when we're working on it, guys. I think our heads were stuck a little too firmly up our own asses.
Oh, Lordy May. Whereas Threshold is like, isn't even like a well-told story. It's just bad. But it's not.
Hyper evolution turns you into salamanders. That's not how evolution works. Shut up!
Okay, we're going to cure this by bombarding them with anti-proton radiation.
That sounds explosive. Not if we do it in micro doses. Like, when I say micro, I mean like
0.52
actively impossible
AMUs.
to get it that. Yes, actively impossible to make.
All right. You do know what an AMU is, right? Well, it's a very small unit of mass. True. An atomic mass unit, it is one proton. Do you know what a fraction of proton is?
Nothing.
You're
Well,
bombarding them with
quarks.
anti-quarks. Well done. Oh, Lordy. Well, it's also like, the fact that Star Trek seems to have... Star Trek, for all its love of... its actual love of science and trying to embody science as being a real thing, boy, they fuck up some stuff scientifically in that show.
Oh, Jesus Christ, do they?
I don't think any of the writers know what plasma actually is.
No, they don't.
It's like, guys, it's a state of matter, not a particular substance, unless you're talking about blood plasma, which is an entirely different thing, and doesn't fit what you're talking about either.
And is spelled differently. Dude, I'm totally going to do like lines of plasma. We're going to go so high on plasma. Blood plasma? No, from the warp core, man. That uh, that sounds ouchy. It sounds really ouchy.
You do realize that plasma is the state of matter that you get when you heat gas up to a certain point, right? No?
No,
Okay.
that I did not know that. That sounds awesome. Let's do lines of it. How do you get lines of plasma?
I don't think I ever tried to do lines of plasma, to be fair.
No, but it sounds like the kind of thing some writer probably tried to do in that very special episode kind of deal.
Oh, Lordy. Probably. I oh God, as I said, I love Star Trek, but they're
Yeah.
bits of science they like, even ignoring the technobabble. And by the way, I love the technobabble. It's goofy and fun, but
Oh yeah. Like part of the reason behind Dr. Arcane from the Mutants Mastermind campaign is I wanted to do magical technobabble.
and it was awesome.
I had so much fun with that.
I could tell. But yeah, at any rate, so yeah, I adore, but back to Bab 5, like, it is one of, if not my favorite sci-fi shows. Just because it did something nobody else really had done, which was actually having an overarching story for an entire series.
Mm.
Like, it was not a serial show. It was episodic. It was not episodic. I mean, it was. I got those reversed.
Yeah.
It was not episodic. It was serial.
It was the to my knowledge, it was one of the first shows that ever did that.
Yeah.
Certainly the first in genre television.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and J. Michael Straczynski is a very, very good writer.
Yes, he knows his shit. He's entirely worth checking out if you haven't already.
He's also behind one of our favorite cartoons. He's behind one of our favorite cartoons of all time, The Real Ghostbusters.
Yes,
he's one of the major writers on that show. Also, he was a writer on both He-Man and the original She-Ra cartoons.
That doesn't surprise me. He crops up in the weirdest places.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. And he's written comic books, a lot of them, and some of them are very good. Some of them are okay. It's a mixed bag, like any writer,
Like, it would not surprise me if like, to find out that he had written a porn once. He shows up and does work in the weirdest places.
Yeah, all I know is he's not particularly interested in doing regular television ever again after Bab 5.
I don't blame him. At all.
Also, dear God, he cannot stand Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
because they're the reason they are the reason that nothing is ever going to be done with Babylon 5 ever again.
Because they're squatting on top of it, aren't they?
There is, yes, because there is an executive at Warner Brothers who hates Babylon 5 with a blinding passion, and never doesn't want anything done with it ever again. And they own the rights to it.
Right. So it's sort of similar to the Farscape. Not Farscape. Firefly debacle.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it's partially it's not just his hatred of Bab 5, it's his hatred of the entirety of the whole P10 thing.
P10?
The P10 network. It was the network that Babylon 5, Hercules, Xena, the sort of pseudo network, Babylon 5, Hercules, Xena.
Right, all of that stuff. Okay,
all those shows. God, Cleopatra 2525, I think.
Cleopatra 2525.
There was a bunch of some shows some of them were good, like Babylon 5 and Xena.
Jack of all trades was so much fun. It wasn't good at all, but I had Bruce Campbell and like Napoleonic France running around being awesome.
That show was fun, but really dumb.
It was stupendously dumb. But it was Bruce Campbell running around in Napoleonic uniform being just Bruce Campbell.
Xena was way better than any goddamn right to be.
This is true. Um, Hercules was really hit or miss.
Hercules, here's the thing. Hercules was fun in a lot of ways, but oh god, it was not good for
Yeah,
the most part. Xena was technically a spin-off of Hercules and was way better.
and much more popular, much to Kevin Sorbo's chagrin.
And knowing what I know about Kevin Sorbo these days, it makes me happy.
Yes.
Because screw that asshole. Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently he was a giant diva on set during the show.
Oh yeah.
Also.
Oh no. Kevin
Like,
Sorbo is the reason that Andromeda went to hell after season 1.
yep.
Oh
Well,
god, there's a show that
Andromeda wasn't. Yeah.
season 1 of Andromeda had actual promise. Like, it had some real flaws, do not get me wrong. But like they were setting up to do this whole cool thing of like politically rebuilding the Federation, all this cool stuff. Like it was set post Long Night, you know, and rebuilding from like the collapsed civilization. That was a cool concept. Season 2 was we've refounded the Federation. Wait, what? And now I'm gonna go off and do space adventures as Captain Kickass.
Oh right, yeah, I remember now.
Oh, the show got Sorboized. Gotcha. It literally was Sorbo.
Yep.
Like,
No, I totally believe it.
oh my god. Like, there was actual potential for that show. And it got shot in the head.
Yeah, they dropped a lot of their yeah, they dropped all of their whatchamacallit, their plot threads, like the plague of cannibalistic space barbarians that were
Magog.
the Magog. Like they just weren't a thing anymore.
Oh no, they were still technically around. They pop up in a few episodes here. They pop up here and there, but they weren't as big a threat anymore. And
Despite the fact that they were like the threat for a long time.
They were the ones who destroyed the Federation.
Yep.
Which is why the fact that one of the characters of the show was a Magog and was awesome. Rev
Yeah,
Ben was
he was
fantastic.
pretty cool.
He was the
Despite
best character.
The fact he was basically wearing a carpet sample for a costume.
His costume was terrible, but the character was amazing. And the actor did a good enough job to make me not care about the costume.
Yeah. I remember him explaining, like, no, I can't actually digest unless I kill the prey. So what do you do? Well, that's why we have a salmon fishery on the ship.
Rev Ben was great. He was a good character. Like, the dude who played him, like, he did a good job of emoting through that piece of crap costume.
Yep. It was a crap costume.
Oh,
Holy
God.
shit, was it
crap. It was a terrible costume.
It was some bad facial prosthetic, spray painted gold, and literally like a carpet sample stitched into like a Snuggie.
And really, really, really stupid looking
Really, just wow, it was not good.
But it was a fun show. Like that. Well, it wasn't good. It was. I don't know if I watched season.
I was not a fan of Andromeda. I'm going to put it right out there.
I totally understand that. I was coasting through season 1 on. Well, this has got potential, and season 1 of sci-fi shows are usually terrible.
Sure.
And maybe season 2 will be oh god, why? Why did they abandon the oh? The premise of the show was oh. Oh well. I mean, there was better sci-fi out there. Like, let's be real.
There was a lot of better sci-fi out there.
Again,
for example, Farscape.
Yeah. I mean, God, hell, like there. Actually, you want another blast from the past sci-fi show that everyone forgets existed?
Sure.
Earth Above and Beyond.
Oh wow, yeah. With the Chigs, who had the most interesting design I'd seen in a long time.
Yeah, that show was actually not bad.
That show was better than it got credit for.
Yeah. And it kind of just died and vanished. And I don't know what happened to it. I don't even know how long it ran.
Oh, the fucking nipple necks, the purpose-built soldiers that decided they didn't want to be soldiers and told you to fuck off and went and made their own colonies with blackjack and hookers, sometimes literally. They had an actual real designation, but the racial slur that got slung around was nipple neck, and one of the characters was one, and there's a lot of like him having to deal with bullshit, and the rest of his squad sticking up for him.
Right.
They have like didn't they have AIs also like
I
androids
think so, but I'm not positive.
that did the whole like fuck you, we're not your tools anymore. We're gonna go make our own colonies of blackjack and hookers. And that was why they made the nipple necks in the first place. I'm sorry for using that term. It's the only way that the gene soldiers. They made the gene soldiers to go and fight the AIs, but the gene soldiers said, "Fuck that! No, we're gonna go make our own colonies." And Earth is like, "Why won't any of our creations do what we tell them?" Oh dear, actual aliens, what do we do now? The history in that show that gets dripped out is just what I just got blown away by.
Oh my god, that show was again way better than it was. Again, given that given what happened to it, it should be better remembered.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any other sci-fi that you're sort of that you're fond of that everyone forgets existed?
I'm certain someone's going to say something in the comments and I'm going to go, "Oh shit! Oh yeah, that was great."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think. Not off the top of my head. There are a couple of I mean, there was X-Files, but X-Files is not aged well.
No, people know it existed also.
Yeah.
And I will also say I really while I really liked season 1 of the X-Files, I lost a lot of interest after season 1.
Well, X-Files was another one of those shows that did the tried doing the overarching plot thing, but it was still very episodic. And I remember when it was airing, enjoying the plot episodes more than the Monster of the Week episodes, but rewatching it years later, definitely enjoying the Monster of the Week episodes better than the plot ones.
Yeah. Like there were elements of the plot episodes I really liked, and like there were individual like I liked some of the antagonists. I like.
Yeah, like Smoking Man was actually really cool.
Well, the actor who played him was phenomenal. Like he was great.
Yeah.
But like the overarching sort of like I remember watching the season 1 finale and going, "Oh my god, what the fuck? That's really awesome." Holy shit, I can't wait for the next season, and then being kind of somewhat let down by season 2.
I don't remember what the season finale was.
That was the one where they revealed that, like, there actually were aliens.
Oh, right, yes.
I forget the exact deal on. I just remember going, "Holy shit!" and then next season being kind of like, "Oh, now there's a stupid conspiracy about the alien." Oh, like yeah, I get the appeal of the conspiracy, but it just didn't feel like it was ever particularly well executed. And like there were like characters who were tied to the conspiracy thing, some of which were very entertaining, but I think didn't really work. Like, oh god, what were those 3 guys called? I can't remember what they were called. They called the Lone Horsemen.
Oh, the Weathermen. Is there a direct reference to?
They were. That wasn't what they were called. They were called something else.
Oh, weren't they?
No.
I thought they were a direct reference to the Weather
No,
Underground.
the 3 hacker dudes. They weren't called that.
Okay. Could have sworn they were, but
I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna drive me completely fucking bonkers if I don't.
Yeah, X-Files. What else was there? Like, I vaguely remember something called like After Earth. No, that was a terrible Will Smith movie. Or Earth Final Conflict.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is another conspiracy show. Honestly, Alien Nation was actually a pretty good.
Oh, that show was great.
Yeah,
That
Alien
show's
Nation
legit.
was great.
The
I,
the
I dug
the
that.
the the hacker dudes and conspiracy theorist guys. They were the lone gunmen.
That's okay. Yeah, different '60s conspiracy kooks.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Alien Nation. Wow, that was a spin-off of a
Yeah.
solid movie. That was a really good show.
Yep. I remember the show better than the movie, actually.
Well, yeah.
You know what show that was utter garbage, but I loved from the '80s and early '90s?
What was it? What?
War of the Worlds.
Oh God.
That show was
Oh
garbage, but I
God.
loved the hell
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah. Oh. Speaking of sort of sci-fi, sort of basically borderline classics from the '80s that everyone forgets existed, despite that it got a bit of a revival in the 2000s. V.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did
With
a whole.
Freddy Krueger as a mentally handicapped person who turned out to be really like the savior of mankind.
Yeah, and then there was the reboot of it in 2000 whatever with Morena Baccarin.
Which was not nearly as good. I was
No.
really excited for it, and it was not nearly as good.
No. It's almost like rebooting things doesn't always work.
Yeah, no shit.
Looking at you, Battlestar Galactica. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, I like Battlestar Galactica, but it's not something I necessarily want to revisit.
Uh,
We've
Battlestar
had this
like
argument before.
I will say I'm willing to accept that people enjoyed Battlestar Galactica past the point I enjoyed it, but if you don't acknowledge the show completely falling apart at the end, I don't know what to say.
Oh, absolutely. It disintegrated like just it yeah.
Like
It hit the atmosphere and confettied is what happened.
Starbuck is space Jesus. Wait, what? Also, everything that doesn't make any sense, it's because of God. And your toaster's going to revolt against you eventually because machines will always revolt against humanity. What? What? Because God. Buh.
Oh, Adam and Eve were actually Cylon human hybrids.
Buh. Buh? Yeah. For me, the beginning of the end was the reveal of the missing Cylons, and that were revealed because of all along the Watchtower.
Which is a cover I kind of liked.
It was a fine cover,
but and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I wonder what they're going to do with this. And then it wasn't very much of a, yeah. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to.
Colonel Ty's a Cylon. What?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I saw it, it's like, oh, wow, I wonder how they're going to justify that. That would be really cool. And they didn't. Like,
I'll admit that
not...
episode actually had me dying with laughter at it, not with it.
Because I remember seeing that and going, oh, that's really cool. I wonder how they'll work that in, like, with Ty being a Cylon, given everything else that had happened. I wonder what stuff I had missed along the way. And having had the foolish thought that obviously everything had been planned out and
they
seeds had been left in there.
nothing.
No, it was not.
There
was a lot of ass pulling involved. And a lot of, what do we do to surprise the audience? Let's make Ty a Cylon. Sure, that tracks. We can pretend it tracks.
Oh my god. But yeah, needless to say, I am less impressed with that show than a lot of people are. Again, I get why people liked it up to a certain point, but after a certain point, like that.
No, I really enjoyed it while it was airing. In hindsight, I like it less now.
I get it.
Mainly because
I get it. As I said, I get it. I get why people liked it. I just didn't. Also, anyone who knows anything significant about computer networks, whenever they talk about computer networks in that show, like all my computer network friends who deal with computer networking stuff, just like look at that, roll their eyes, and go, "Oh my fucking god, no." Also, Cylons are completely indistinguishable from humans, except that their spines glow when they have sex, and they can plug a computer cable into their arm and interface with the computer.
Yeah.
you should be
Oh,
able to you know.
to be fair, they totally bought into the silent propaganda that the skin jobs are indistinguishable from humans. Because I didn't have an actual skin job to experiment with for a while anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that to be honest, that was actually made sense as an explanation. Like they just
I'm sorry. The fact that if you were actually just do a medical examination of one of them, you would notice that they have weird wiring shit and then allows them to plug computer cables into their arms.
yes, but what I'm saying is they couldn't do it in a medical examination of one because it didn't have one. That was the whole thing, was to detect
But the
one
thing is,
so they could do so.
if you're doing a routine medical examination on some random person, like one of them who's in the fucking military.
Gee, I don't know what you're talking about, Peter. Come on. I mean, no one would believe that Boomer was a Cylon. She was adorable.
I'm sorry.
Well,
There's no
apparently
like unless the medical technology.
your flight deck chief was one too. Like that.
Yeah.
That one I didn't get.
Again, as I
Like-
said, like oh, when they sacrificed the Pegasus to save the Galacticos when you checked out, Duwani. See, that made more sense than the original Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
A, the Pegasus wasn't better than the Galactica. The Galactica wasn't a piece of crap. It was actually a top-of-the-line battleship. And it's like, but why is it like, yeah, the Galactica was actually more powerful than any of the silent stuff that came after them. Why is that a problem? Well, because they're escorting a train of unarmed civilian ships. They can't just go off and fight on their own. The original Battlestar Galactica, despite being 70s camp, was actually a really well thought out show with some really fucking dark moments. Like Jesus, fuck.
Like the pilot where they discovered the resort planet that they've been taking refuge at was eating them.
That was kind of kind of screwed up. Kind of awesome in a dark way.
I dug it. I dug it a lot. I was all over that.
It's the original Battlestar Galactica is a much better show than people give it credit for. Yeah, it was 70s cheese. Do not get me wrong.
It was absolute 70s cheese. I think part of the problem is people also remember Battlestar 1981.
Oh God,
which was
absolute
garbage.
Oh God, yes, No, the problems that the original Battlestar Galactica have that ding the people's memory of it is honestly the kid. Because it was the 70s, and of course there was an important child character in the show.
Of course.
With a robot dog, because of
the
course
robot.
I kind of like the robot
for the
dog.
longest time I thought it was supposed to be some sort of monkey Ewok thing. I didn't realize it was supposed to be a dog forever.
It was. I will admit, when I was a kid, I liked the robot dog. I got older, I liked it a little bit less.
I liked the robot dog as a kid. When I didn't realize it was a dog, I thought it was some sort of weird alien robot hybrid thing.
And I will say there were some things I liked about the reboot that I thought they were really cool. Like the change, the like up until for most of the early parts of the show, what they did with Starbuck was actually really cool. It made her made the character a better character, honestly.
No, Starbuck. I will take reboot Starbuck over original Starbuck any day of the week.
Up until Space Jesus, yes.
Up until Space Jesus.
But yeah, no, I will agree with that.
Honestly, I'll take reboot Ty over the original Ty also.
I can see that.
I found reboot Ty to be a more flawed and more interesting character, particularly in contrast to like he was the loyal opposition to Adama. I will take original Adama over reboot Adama,
which is weird. I love Edward James Olmos. He's a great actor.
He's amazing. He
does the best he can do with that role.
Yes. The problem is Adama's kind of a fascist psychopath.
Yeah. I will also take the original Baltar over the reboot Baltar. Like,
I'm sort of two minds about that.
I can't.
Like,
I honestly think the reboot Baltar is one of the worst characters in the show.
like
It's like,
I like the idea of the celebrity scientist desperately trying to like come up with some way to justify his continued existence and privilege on the refugee train. Like that's an interesting idea for a character. Um, for a side character anyway. Um, and I'd never understood original Baltar's motivations. Like, I will destroy the human race, and the Cylons will make me. I don't know what the Cylons will make me, but I'll destroy the human race. Boo-ha-ha-ha.
but he was such a gloriously campy, over the top villain. I just loved him.
Oh, sure, but I can get that with Cobra Commander and Megatron. And they're better because they're cartoons.
But yeah. Yeah, oh god, the original Battlestar Galactica was again a much better show than people remember it being. Is the long and short of it.
Yes,
Though it was flawed. I will not.
it was flawed. Like I love the design of the original Centurions and the Cylon Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do prefer the reboot base stars. They're just more interesting looking. Which is weird. Generally, I don't like the
actually
slick redesign.
I'm completely the opposite. I loathe the reboot base stars. I think they look just awful.
The thing is, I look at the original base stars, and I'm like, great, you've got two paper plates stuck together.
They look
okay.
they look like they're actually functional. They look like they actually could accomplish something. As opposed to looking kind of like failed shadow ship clones.
Well, I'm sure there's no small amount of shall we say, inspiration involved there. But no, what I liked about the reboot base stars is they which ties in the whole biomechanical nature of the Cylons in the reboot, is they looked like starfish. They looked like giant spaceborne starfish that shot fighters out of their arms.
I guess.
I thought that was kind of cool.
Not my thing. But again, I don't like the Cylons in the reboot show at all.
I kind of like I kind of like their Centurions, but they hardly ever got used. They were criminally underused.
The Centurions were fine.
Yeah, I like the reboot Centurions. I prefer the original Centurions because by your command.
The lack of Maximilian also hurt, in my personal opinion. Because he was awesome. By your command.
Yes, Maximilian. He was such a weird design for it.
He really was.
He was a sparkling gold lame cloak with like a light up cone head on top.
But oh my god, his voice actor was so awesome.
Yes.
Like the way you could hear the contempt he had for Baltar dripping from every goddamn word.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, I have to humor this monkey. Ugh.
That's the thing that I didn't like about the original Baltar, is that I actively feared him less than I did Cobra Commander, and that's hard to do.
I honestly, I think the reason I like
the original Baltar was so clearly a dupe and an idiot.
Oh no, I agree with you. The reason I like the original Baltar is entirely because of the actor playing him.
Oh sure. And the actor sells it as much, sells it with as much as he can.
Yeah, no, he does a beautiful. He turns in a gloriously camp villain job. I adore it. There's nothing saving the reboot Baltar from that from my loathing of the character's writing. Like, the actor can't save it is the problem. It just God, I hate that character. But again, there are very few characters in the reboot Galactica I at all enjoyed. Like,
right.
Starbuck, I like Ty. I agree with you. I like Ty a lot. I like the original
I
Ty
liked the
also.
chief up until he became a Cylon.
I was
Because
okay.
then they clearly had no idea what to do with him
Well, yeah,
after a certain point, and they're like,
yes,
let's make him a Cylon.
he was fine. I wanted to like Boomer because I like the actress.
Yeah, no, the actress for Boomer did worked her ass off,
There are a
but
lot of
was
actors who
just
did.
not.
Like, the acting was not the problem with that show.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, what's her name? Who played the president? I can't remember her name now.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, she
She,
was great.
phenomenal
I just wish the
actress.
president. Yeah,
The character was
and I
so badly written. I'm so sorry.
the here's the thing. Like I I liked her up to a certain point because she was someone who she was the Secretary of Education. She was so far down the totem pole. The very idea of becoming president completely blew her mind. And the first while of her flailing around trying to get a handle of things and leaning a little too hard on the obvious fascist.
Yeah, no, I actually was okay. I liked her early on more than I liked her later. I
Yeah.
mostly liked season one.
Again, they had no idea what to do with her after
Nope.
a certain point.
Well, they don't. They again,
It,
they weren't planning anything. They were trying to do a serial story with long ongoing plot without actually having an actual honest to god plan. They were leaning heavily on the old mystery box concept, and basically that was basically all they had.
yeah. No, they spent too long. They drank the Abrams.
They did absolutely.
They drank the Abrams Kool Aid. The Abrams, I got little respect for Abrams. Like I do not enjoy most of his work. He's very good at aping other people's stuff, and I respect that. But anytime he tries to do something on his own, it ends up being garbage. Looking at you, Lost.
Oh my god, season one. That's season one of like.
Another great season one, phenomenal season one. Fell off a cliff
Yep,
afterwards.
I agree. Like again, if he actually like if he had to use the questions that he established in season one and had spent the rest of the series answering those questions, we would have been good. But no,
Yeah,
mystery box, keep asking more questions and never answer anything. Oh my god, I hate you.
largely because he didn't have answers to those questions
Right.
because he was a git.
He didn't know what the answers were when he asked them when he was running the show.
Yep.
It's like, dude, when you ask the question, you need to know the answer. Oh, there's so many shows from that era that did that. Goddamn
Yep.
Heroes. Jesus fucking
Fucking
Christ.
Heroes. Oh man, that was another show with a lot of potential that ended up falling off a cliff.
Yeah. Like I was utterly baffled by how they resolved season one.
Yeah.
Like, oh wait, Peter survived? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, I kind of assumed like I didn't like the ending of season one, and because it just seemed so. I don't know. It didn't. I didn't feel like saving the cheerleader save the world actually meant anything. Like it just like it
No,
didn't
Save the
matter.
Cheerleader Save the World was not because she's particularly important, but because if Sylar copies their powers, they'll be unstoppable. What?
Except that's not what happened.
I know. But yeah,
And
it went from okay, like she's going to be important and we'll be able to do something. No, that's not what it
no,
is. We have to
that's not what it
copy
is at
Sylar for
all.
copy powers. Nope, that's not actually. Wait, what? You went from a potentially cool concept like Claire being an actual, like turning out to be actually important and kind of a badass maybe, to oh no, she's a damsel in distress, to no, she's actually not important at all.
Yeah.
What?
And then both Peter and Sylar surviving because reasons.
Well,
Despite
because
the fact that they clearly exploded at the end of season one.
because Sylar was the best character in the show.
Oh, hands down.
Well,
Hands down.
he
But
and
another one
he
they
and
ended up
Hero
not
were
knowing what the fuck to do with after season one.
right. Actually, more accurately, he and Hero were the two best characters in that show.
Yes. Another one they had no idea what the fuck to do with after season one.
I know. Well, they didn't know what to do with
Just-
anybody after season one, Eric.
Yeah. No, season one was.
Season one wanted to be better than it actually was.
Season one. I will say this: season one had a lot of ambition that it failed to live up to, and I respect that. I really do.
Sure.
Season two did not have that ambition.
Mm-mm. Season 1 leaned really heavily on some very engaging acting performances, and some good concepts, and
Mm.
didn't actually go anywhere with them. For instance, Zachary Quinto as Siler was freaking amazing.
Yep.
Um, the guy who played Hero was fantastic, and his buddy too. Oh God,
Oh yeah, those two were great.
they were fantastic together. And the girl who played Claire, the cheerleader. Oh my God, she was great.
Yeah.
Hayden Panettiere, that's it. I remembered her name. Like, she was really. Oh, and her dad. Oh my God, her dad.
Oh right, with
Claire's
the
dad
paper
was
company.
amazing. One of the most
Yeah.
badass people to show it. He had no goddamn powers.
One of the most terrifying people on the show
Yeah,
because he was in charge of the whole fucking thing.
he was a cool character.
He was a cool character.
I literally like I just really. Oh right, Claire's dad was amazing. Oh my God, but yeah, that show was. Oh, I wanted to like that show more than I did. Really did. That show should have been like right up both of our alleys too.
Yeah, no, it should have been. And a lot of season 1 was up my alley.
Yeah, no, sure. And like in season 2, they bring in goddamn what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name all of a sudden. Play Doctor Who.
Oh,
Play the Doctor. Christopher Eccleston.
yes.
They brought Eccleston in as a surly bastard mentor of an Invisible Man type. Like, holy
Yeah.
crap, this should be awesome. I mean, he does a good job with the character, but like it oh God, why? I stopped watching after season 2.
I got halfway through season 2.
Well, yeah. Oh, I will also say that show was also seriously hurt by the writer's strike.
Yes. A lot of shows suffer from the writer's strike.
Yeah. So like that, like as much like we're complaining about, like they had no idea what they were doing. Like part of the problem was the writer's strike, honestly, for that show.
Yep.
And that probably hurt Battlestar Galactica too. In all honesty.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah, I mean the writer's strike killed a lot of shows from that era. At the same time, I can't really blame them. The writers are kind of getting shit on by the studios up to that point. And, they just sort of forget all the time. It's funny. Every time there's a writer's strike, it's because the studios decide, you know what? We don't need to pay our writers. Why would we do that?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
Of
It's
course,
just
at the same time, any management versus labor, you're going to find me coming down the side of labor.
I have
So.
no idea. I have no idea why you would say that, Eric.
I have my biases. I acknowledge them.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I might agree with you on that one, on that particular one. maybe just a tiny bit.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a little bit. So, anyways, I think that sort of. I think we've basically mined that question for all we've got,
Yeah.
and filled the show actually.
We filled the show. That I did not expect that one to go as long as it did, honestly.
But it did.
Also, we have stuff for next week,
which is great. Well, maybe the week after. Will depend on how
maybe the week after. Depends on how quickly we chew up the show Gav's selected.
Well, we're about halfway through, so
yeah, it's a good show.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. We're enjoying Megalobox so far. I have a suspicion of how it's going to end, but that's because I know how Ishita no Joe ends. So
Alien invasion.
Yes, that's exactly how Ishita no Joe ends. Yes, the actual boxing manga ends with alien invasion. You were correct, Eric.
Yep. Turns out Joe was an alien all along.
Yep, you are completely correct.
Sleeper agent for the giant space hyenas.
Yeah, it turns out it's actually similar to the plot of V, except space hyenas instead of lizards. And there's boxing because,
And there's boxing because it turns out hyenas have those long forelimbs because they love to box.
There we go. Yeah. Oh my god. But yeah, so yeah. All right, before we wrap things up, there is one of the things we got on YouTube is should be a sort of short viewer question. And as I said before, we like to save time for viewer questions on the show.
Yep.
And I figured we should at least answer a viewer question that is short enough to answer quickly.
Yes.
So that we can actually say that, yes, we answer viewer questions. So we got one this time, god damn it, and we're going to answer it.
Hooray!
So, Gral Otonami on YouTube asked, do we have any opinions on the Battletech Clan Invasion Kickstarter? Um,
I'm gonna say no because this is the first I've heard of it. I generally don't pay much attention to Kickstarters. And the clans I've always considered to be the worst part of BattleTech.
Yep.
So
I agree with you, but neither of us are particularly big fans of the clans. I get why people are, to be honest, and some of the some of the clan mech designs are really fucking cool.
Yes. The clans have some great mech designs, especially when they're brave enough to be asymmetrical. Looking at you, Thor. Thor, really like the Thor.
But yeah, so the BattleTech Clan Invasion Kickstarter. Let me just tell you what it is, so you can.
Sure.
Basically, it's a sort of an intermediate. Much the same way that the Game of Armor Combat box was sort of a starter set to learn how to play. This is sort of the intermediate starter box. Is sort of more advanced rules and such. So it's adding in the clan tech stuff. So it comes with 5 plastic miniatures: an Executioner, Timberwolf, Nova, Grendel, and Adder. 2 points, two bases of elemental battle armor, some dice, rulebook for the clans, little booklet on explaining the sort of primer on each of the clans, record sheets, short novella, pilot cards. I don't know what Alpha Strike cards are.
Neither do I.
But reference card, game maps, standees and terrain tile punch board, and unique cover for backer copies. So it sounds kind of like a nice little box set, and like I don't know much about what they've done with the Game of Armored Warfare. I know there were some minor changes to BattleTech in the new box set that they added some new stuff to it, I think, but I have not actually played BattleTech in a while, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
BattleTech's like the last BattleTech I played, honestly, was the computer game, which I fucking adore.
Yeah, the computer game was great.
The game Piranha made was wow.
Yeah. BattleTech's also existed in this sort of like state of stasis for the past 30 years, with little in the way of actual meaningful changes. Like they'll introduce like new weapon systems and new mechs and stuff, but there have been no like changes to the core rules or cleaning up like various balance issues. Which I've always been like, I mean, that's great because I never have to buy another book, but you know, I'd like to see something done about certain issues.
Yeah. Honestly, I love BattleTech the game, but I'm like, I'm kind of like done with the story for it, honestly.
Sure.
I don't need more new story for it. Like I'm happy to play the game more, but
Sure. I'm not even talking about new story stuff. I'm just talking about like cleaning up a Byzantine rule system from the 80s.
Oh yeah, sure, I can see that. Like I will admit I personally like the rules, but I get why people would prefer it to be a little bit more streamlined.
I like the rules for an RPG.
Yeah, sure.
I do not like them for a war game.
Sure. I'm definitely more on the side of complicated not complicated is not the right term. More intricate and more detail oriented.
Lots of granularity.
I like granularity. I like the granularity. I like the sort of the more simulationist aspects of it.
Sure, and that's cool. And
I totally get why it's not your thing. I get it.
Totally, and that is great for an RPG. Although I generally prefer simpler RPGs also. But if I'm playing a war game with multiple units on the table, I don't want to spend half an hour doing a single LRM spread.
I get that, honestly.
Like, I want to fire their LRMs, resolve the attacks quickly, and move on to the next weapon system or unit.
But yeah, but long story short, like we both love that. We both love these. We both like the setting of BattleTech, and
Yeah.
I think we both actually really like BattleTech as an RPG setting. Honestly,
Yes, it's a great RPG setting, particularly prior to the clan or the beginning of the clan invasion.
yeah, and honestly, it's a
Um,
good war game setting. Our opinions of the
yes,
actual war game itself are varied, and we
yes,
both agree that it works better as a computer game than it does as a tabletop game. I will,
because a lot of the stuff I was just complaining about gets handled on the back end.
yeah. We both adore the Piranha Games BattleTech. That thing's like
Yeah.
it's a good story. It basically it streamlines all the stuff. It makes the game play more smoothly, and it actually fixes a couple of minor problems with the game, in my opinion. Like the initiative
Yep.
system they use in the computer game, in that I think is actually a better initiative system than the
I will absolutely agree with that because it actually gives you a reason to bring lighter units.
It makes
Like
light
there's
mechs
no
not
reason
the
not to bring all assaults all the time in the tabletop.
one of the things that like I and some of my other friends realized many years ago was that wow, why bring light mechs when you can just use hovercraft, which are cheaper, faster, and pack just as much firepower and are not much less fragile?
I have never played BattleTech, whether in an RPG or as a war game, where anyone bothered to bring light mechs.
I have.
It has always been I played an RPG where the opponents brought light mechs. Like where the game master sent light mechs after us.
What? I never did that, Eric.
No, you never did that. Fucking that lunatic freaking locust pilot.
Whoop 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 whoop.
I don't even remember what happened to him. I just vaguely remember like commenting I could pick him up and wear him as a hat.
Leland's character in that campaign was piloting a light mech.
That's right. He was piloting a
wolfhound.
a wolfhound.
And so
Leland...
as big as you can be and still be a light mech. But
yes. Also keep in mind, Leland will always make the weirdest, most nonsensical character he can in any given.
And honestly, but again, the Wolfhound is actually like that thing is like a borderline. That thing's more powerful.
That mech is a medium mech. At the end,
yeah,
it is armored. It is armored and gunned at like a medium mech and has a movement profile like a medium mech. It's just 5 tons light.
It's actually it moves like a light mech. It just actually has armor and firepower.
Yeah. Right, because it doesn't bother with any ballistic weapons, which for some reason light mechs seem to like. I don't know why.
Oh my god!
Why would you put
the BattleTech has a problem with the ballistic weapons aren't very good in BattleTech in general, with a few exceptions.
The AC-20 and the Gauss rifle, those are the two.
Yeah, autocannon. The AC-5 and AC-2 work on vehicles.
Yes, because they don't have to worry about heat, and you can have a fuck ton of them.
They literally can just completely ignore the heat on those because they don't.
Yep.
Because non-energy weapons don't generate heat on vehicles. I taught Eric. I taught the party to fear AC-5 armed tanks when I flung a platoon of the
partisans
tanks, anti-aircraft tanks at them. They're like, oh, they're partisans. They just have AC-5s. What are they going to do? Wait,
they're just AC-5s, whatever. Oh dear God!
There are 16 AC-5s. Each one of those is effectively an AC. This is adding up, Peter. Yes, it is. Oh, God! And they're dug in. Yes, they are. Thank God we have air support. I did a number on you guys those for a while.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Your repair bills were not happy.
That was another time where my friggin' Atlas almost exploded.
Yep.
The amount of times I came so close to getting that Atlas exploded. Sheer dumb luck saving it.
Yeah. Now you guys all 4 of you underestimated what those tanks were going to do.
Because we're like, they're tanks, whatever. We'll step on them. What are they going to do? Shoot us with their pea shooters? We're across the map. They're shooting us. Whatever. They're pea shooters. This is adding up. There's a lot. Oh dear God. Are we going to be okay?
The best part was watching Chris go from whatever they're partisans to the turn before it really started getting bad. Chris had this look on his face of wait a minute. Therefore,
this is going to get really bad.
This is going to be really bad. Oh God, Peter's laid a real trap for us. Oh. Peter played into our actual sort of psychological beliefs of
Biases, yeah. Played into players' biases as to how to handle this.
well, the thing is, it was both the player and the way most most actual mech warriors feel also.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're tanks, whatever. Oh god, why? Those are anti-aircraft tanks, whatever. Oh, they can depress the guns. Okay, that's not that big a threat, except that that's like a lot of autocannons. Oh dear. So yeah, but long story short, I'll be honest. I'm glad that they met their goals already. I'm glad the Kickstarter is doing well. More BattleTech is good.
Yes.
I'm
More
just
BattleTech is good. I'll never begrudge more BattleTech. Unless
I'm
it's the
just
stupid clicky thing from like
Oh
15 years
god,
ago.
yeah, ClickTech was a thing. Unfortunately, WizKids. They were trying to do. I will give this. They were trying to do something with BattleTech. They were trying to move forward with the storyline. Despite that, what they were doing with moving forward with that line is the storyline is basically to set it back into Dark Ages again.
Yep.
Because that was what we needed.
Yeah.
Oh dear lord.
ClickTech was terrible.
I'm looking through the Kickstarter. Apparently, there's an Urban Mech plushie.
That's adorable.
I
That's adorable. I love it.
I'm that. I'm gonna have to see if I can find a good picture of that, Eric. An Urban Mech plushie. Okay, hang on.
I was just gonna get a plushie Atlas and a plushie Marauder.
They don't have an actual. They've got a sort of a mock-up of it. It looks like. I'm guessing. It's
Okay,
hard to tell.
so it's not the actual plushie. Okay,
I don't. I'm not sure. It might be. I will link it to you, and I'll put it up on stream in a second. I'll
cool.
Eric a link to it into the Grognards chat. There we go, and then so people on stream can see it. There you guys go.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that will be adorable if it happens.
Yeah.
I'll want one.
Well, it's part of the Kickstarter, so.
Well, I'm not going to throw money at a Kickstarter.
Well, I mean neither, but.
Yeah.
So
simply because I
for
just
those
don't
who
do
are watching,
Kickstarters.
That's what it looks like. It's kind of adorable.
The one time I thought about doing a Kickstarter was the Critical Role cartoon because I was like, this will be awesome as a cartoon. And it was so far beyond funded by the time I got to the page that I was like, they don't need my money.
I would consider I would consider this Kickstarter if I thought I was going to play BattleTech at any time in the near future.
Yeah,
like the actual tabletop game. It's unlikely I'm going to. So, like, I if I want to get my BattleTech fix, I'll just play the video game.
Yeah,
because it really gives me that fix. It covers the era of BattleTech I like the most.
Yep.
And it's got a little bit of advanced tech by using the Star League era tech from little bits of Star League tech you can get in the game. And it uses one of my favorite gives you one of my favorite Star League era mechs. Like, oh my god, I get to have a Highlander? Are you serious?
It's a shame you can't get a Marauder in that game.
Yeah. You might be able to get one later on. Not in that main campaign, but like one of the later the DLC campaigns they did. They've done some DLC stuff since then.
Right. I think I have some of it. I don't know for sure off the top of my head. I've played through some of it. I haven't played through all of it.
Yeah, I still have to finish the first story arc. I've not finished it yet. I got to a certain point and actually ended up getting distracted by other stuff I had to do. I had to take a break from it.
I did end up finishing the first story arc, but I didn't start on the others. I need to reinstall it.
Right, but you got a new machine.
Right.
Cool. All right. Critical Role ended with 11 million under 750,000 goal.
Yes.
Damn.
I went to check that out. It's like, oh, cool. I would love a Critical Role cartoon, and I like all these voice actors, so I'll be happy to fund them on their project. And well, they've already surpassed their goal, and they don't need my money. It's all I watch it tick over to 2 million by the time I got over there. So they really don't need my money.
Yeah, I would have if I'd had free money when the BattleTech computer game Kickstarter was going. I would have done. I would have. That's one I would have done. But
Right. I don't know if I would have, just because I've seen enough video game Kickstarters become vaporware.
I generally agree with you. But I knew the company ahead of time.
Okay.
Well, they're the guys who did the Shadowrun RPGs.
Oh, those guys. Yeah.
So they were going to make 3 episodes. Now they're making 12. Yeah.
Yes.
At any rate, we're gonna wrap up here, I think. But yeah, so thank you for the question. We really appreciate that, Grawl Otanami. I hope that was a satisfactory answer. But if you have questions you'd like us to answer in the show, we love getting viewer questions. You can send them to us either at our email address, which is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards @yahoo.com, or you can post them on the comment section on YouTube, or I guess you could just send them to me over Twitter. My Twitter handle is @MechaGM. If you've got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, constructive criticism, that sort of thing, we love getting that stuff. Same places, email, YouTube, Twitter, what have you. If you've got show topic suggestions, oh God, we love show topics. We have a few in the bank right now, which is awesome, but we love getting more, so feel free to send them to us.
Yes.
Same places, email, YouTube. You can, again, as I said, you can send it to me on Twitter if you'd like. But yeah, we love getting all that stuff. Please send it to us. If you like the episode, feel free to. We love to get if you subscribe if you're listening to us on YouTube and enjoy the show, if you want to subscribe to the channel, great. That way you'll know, and if you hit the post notification button, the little bell thing, you'll know when new episodes go live. Thank you. Feel free to throw us a like and a comment if you if you want to help us out with the algorithm. We'd appreciate that.
The vile algorithm, it demands its sacrifice. It does.
It does, yeah. It demands a sacrifice of your likes and comments.
Smash that like button and subscribe.
I was trying not to say that.
Hear our call to action. Meow, meow, meow.
Yeah, honestly, smash that like button and subscribe. That's almost like an eldritch incantation at this point.
It really is.
Like, we're trying to appease the elder god that is YouTube, so that the algorithm doesn't descend.
Which is really just an aspect of the greater entity of Microsoft, all of which serves
it's Google, actually, Eric.
Is it Google?
It's Google.
You're right. It is Google.
So the almighty algorithm doesn't come.
Great, an even worse entity. Awesome.
But yeah, so the almighty algorithm doesn't descend upon us and devour us in madness like Cthulhu.
Dude, I'd rather cross Cthulhu than Google. Cthulhu's got less money to fuck with me with.
Cthulhu will just drive you mad and consume your body.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's
that's going to do it for this week, though. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Next week, we'll be back with another podcast of some flavor, either another episode of Grognards or an episode of 3-Minute Anime, assuming we actually finish the show, which I think we're likely to.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to happen.
In which case, we'll be back talking next week about Megalobox, which we're all enjoying. So it's possible they'll screw it up at the end, and we'll have to complain about it. We'll see.
We'll find out.
But that's going to do it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys had fun, as I said, and we'll be back next time. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.